What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Kitchen Table TCG for a Crucible of War market update. We got a good one for you guys today. A lot of things happening in the market, both as players and collectors. I think this is going to be a good update. We're back at it again. Before we get started, I'd love to highlight my Patreon. If you want to support content like this and the rest of the content on the channel, head to patreon.com/KitchenTableTCG or KitchenTableTCG.com, where there's a button there too. You get access to a collection tracker that utilizes all the data from these videos, as well as a 10% off code from the Midtown Merchant, as well as access to a Discord server that is an amazing place to hang out and talk about the game. Would love to see you there. Again, that's patreon.com/KitchenTableTCG. Okay, let's get into looking at Crucible of War. See, is it worth it to buy a box? So right now, boxes, I'm gonna call them $8.50. Let me pop up here the card highlight button. Let me show you $8.50. We had some sold listings at $8.50, $8.70, $7.70. They're starting to pick up. You know, last week this would have been at like the $7.30s. But again, we did not do a market update last week. This week, in the last couple of days, prices have been trending into the $8.50s. Which is kind of where we were before Crucible Unlimited came out. If we pop that back up for you, you can see right when Crucible Unlimited came out, we had a small little dip, but we're kind of back up to the $8.50 range, which, you know, it doesn't make sense for the box sealed prices to go down with Crucible Unlimited, in my opinion, anyway. Meanwhile, you've got unlimited boxes that are sitting at $89 on TCG Player. That's where they are at TCG Player. I know, like for me, you can get boxes for $85 on my website, cavdainsmarket.com. If you're a patron, you get them, I think it's $79. There's other deals going out there as well, so make sure you're not buying your boxes on TCG Player, but utilize other people in the community. Let's hop in and talk about the Fable. The Arknight Shard. There was a shard that sold, first edition 9.0 shard sold yesterday for $2,400 for a 9.0 for BGS 9. So losing a ton of value. That's a huge dip from where we were. We had like a 3K sold listing maybe a month ago. That's a significant dip of like 20% of the value of the card. Down to where we were when I started tracking the values of Arcane Rising. I want to highlight that. We have reached the absolute registered bottom from when I started all the way back from December 19th of 2020. So this is a bottom of a market. It could keep going down, but from my data, this is as low as it has ever been. So I just wanted to throw that out there for the Arknight Shard. Meanwhile, you've got the, this is the box prices. Meanwhile, you've got the unlimited version of this card. The unlimited shard is selling for about $234. You can see there were some sold listings that were higher than that, but that is the current market price or available price on the market for the card. So, interesting stuff to see. A lot of downwards pressure on the singles, as you're about to see for first edition Crucible of War. Let's pop in. Let's show you some more bad news. I hate to bum you guys out. I know that these videos, for those of you who have cards, are becoming very, very sad. I get it. I understand. There was a Cheyenne, though, that sold two days in a row for 2K. This one under 2K at 1,900. Yep. I mean, again, like talking about low prices, when I started doing these videos, we were sitting at 1,200, and a week later we are at 2,500. Today we are at 1,900. So we are approaching kind of the all-time lows since I started tracking the value of these cards. Obviously before then they were lower than they are now. Meanwhile, you got the Twinning Blade, which hasn't really budged in price. Hasn't really, I mean, look at how steady this card has been. It's been just completely steady. And then the Spring Tunic, it's down to, that was probably more to be, I would have anticipated that, I think, with Unlimited being released. The Tunic is sitting at 175. So let's take a look. Your average then, kind of what we call legendaries, are sitting at 1,100. The Tunic, or the Twinning Blade's not technically in there, but it is certainly short printed. So it's kind of calculated as a legendary. Let's take a look at the Majestic Cold Foil. Some good news here for you. Courage Blade Hold. I guess good news if you're selling, bad news if you're buying, maybe? I don't really know how that works. Courage Blade Hold's not popping up. Let me try resubmitting it. Courage Blade Hold there sold for $600 over on eBay. 130 point is just, oh, there we go. Sold for $600 on eBay with auctions. So that's, that's a good sign. Meanwhile, we had a Crater Fist that also sold for $362, which is up, and then a Gambler's Gloves that sold for $450, which is down. The rest of the prices staying pretty same. You can see Courage Blade Hold had a peak price of $1,300 way back when, and now, when I started tracking it, it was like $250, so we're still up above that. So pretty good on the cold foil Majestic side. Cold foil rares, sorry, your average there is sitting at 467 or 469.69. So your average on the cold foil rares, lots of movement. We're up 18%. Now I think that this is mostly due to a lack of supply. I would not anticipate being able to get these prices for the cards, but there are sold listings. So for instance, there was a sold listing of a Reaping Blade that I'll show you right now. There's a sold listing of a Reaping Blade for 250 Great Britain pounds, which I think, if I remember right, it was like 360 or something. But on TCG Player, there's one available for 230, so that kind of takes the trump of the price. But even that TCG Player price is 76% higher than the last sold listing. Meanwhile, the Centauri Sabers, you may have seen it when I was just popping in there. Centauri Sabers, a pair of them sold for $500, and there's just none on the market that are less than this. So where I don't fully agree that Centauri Sabers should be worth $250 if a Redliner is $130 or Talistar is $140, while I don't fully agree with that, that being said, there's not currently anything on the market, so that's where we are in the price point of things. Talistar going up as well, Redliner going up, a lot of movement on these lower value cards, but the average then sitting at 18% and an average of $150. Plasma Barrel Shot going down 23%, Mandible Claw going down 38%. A lot of just, that was a weird sold listing a couple weeks ago for the reverse one on TCG Player. But you can see Reaping Blade, these cards are all over the place. It's a lot due to supply, demand, interest, lower value collectible than the legendaries, so they move differently. Let's move on. Let's take a look at the Rainbow Foil Majestics from first edition. You're going to see Snag on this list of the Majestics here quite a bit, even into Unlimited, first edition, whatever. Snag is seeing a ton of play against Chain, and that's causing it to go up in price. Meanwhile, the other cards, they're moving a little bit. Remorseless seeing some action. Maybe, people playing Ranger. Spoils of War is always kind of going up. Same with Twinning Blade. Nothing really super special. A decent amount of losses this week too, probably due to Unlimited coming out, specifically on these Majestics. They're pretty easy to find in Unlimited, so people taking their first edition, selling them, and recouping their Unlimited cards. So all in all, your average this week is sitting at $39, which is just down about 1.5%. Looking at your regular Majestics then, actually slightly up, which is bizarre. Again, a huge amount of this is due to Snag. Snag has moved up 115%, a current price of $45. Aetherize also seeing, a little bit of increased. Flood of Force, these ones are kind of weird though. They're like not really that significant. Twinning Blade, anyway, you're seeing a little bit of movement. A lot of this stuff is tied towards Snag though. The other cards just aren't really moving quite as much. So your average your average regular price is sitting at $28.54. You can see Snag. There was some interest in this card way back when. There's actually a buyout, if you remember, way back at the beginning of the year. Somebody tried to buy out a bunch of these. But over time, we've just kind of eroded in value. There's another quick hiccup in April for this card. Then it dropped in value, and now we're seeing another quick hiccup. It'll be interesting to see as we can see continued play with Chain, though. This card will continue to be utilized until Chain is kind of no longer the boogeyman. Seeing the Rainbow Foil Rares, average price is about $9. Not a ton going on. You've got some specific cards moving up a couple dollars here or there. Marvin Sky is still seeing significant increases and significant gains. Looking at the regular rares, average price down to $1.47. Again, nothing huge here. You're seeing a lot of the cards that are seeing play, like Marvin Skies, continue to increase in value. A lot of cards like Dauntless, it's just kind of all over the place. But we're still seeing a little bit of a tail off due to Unlimited. Looking at their foil commons, Rune Chant, somebody's still buying those. Look at the Rune Chant, I love it. It jumps up because somebody buys a bunch, and then it kind of slowly goes down, and then jumps up because somebody buys a bunch. So somebody's definitely targeting the Rune Chants. I love it. Average price right now around $9. As we look towards the EV here, if you are just going to call it a true EV, remember you can head on over to ev.kitchentabletcg.com, where you can actually play with these numbers, and you could put in, hey, show me all cards over $2. It would tell you the EV of all the cards over $2. But if you want to take all the cards in there, it'd be about $8.45. If you take out the commons, which you should do, you won't be able to sell all these commons. You'd be sitting at $765. If you take out the Fable, you'd be sitting at $705. And if you take out the Legendaries, you'd be sitting at $620. So if you open a box, I think you could expect to hit around $620. But a huge total of that is also locked into this Majestic cold foil, which is a gamble. That's, if you want to subtract that, you'd be sitting at more like $500, or even a little bit less than at $480. So a lot of money in the Majestic cold foil and in the Majestic regular, as you can see there. Definitely not worth it to open a box, as it shouldn't be for first edition this late into a release cycle. All right, let's talk about Crucible Unlimited. If you want to open boxes, I'm going to spoil it for you. You should definitely be opening boxes of Crucible Unlimited. Even though we're seeing a lot of loss in value of things like Cheyenne, the Tunic is still holding its own. I really thought this was going to be a $75 card, but here we are still holding at $145. Cheyenne really not doing much for anybody. I think I popped it up here. Really just not doing much for anybody. Sitting at 139. It's selling at 140, even 130 earlier this week. But just, it's not played. So the cards that are being played right now are what's driving the market. You can see, as I talk about that, Snag going up in price by $25. The Rainbow Foil Majestic Snag is now the same price as the first edition Snag of the non-foil. So sitting at $45 for Rainbow Foil Snag. Fine Center also seen some play, but not really much else in the Rainbow Foil side going up. In fact, nothing else is going up. All the other cards are kind of dropping in value. Massacre, Plasma Purifier, Skullhorn, Chain Lightning, Heron's Flight, all the ones that are losing the most value. Your kind of key cards in the set are still Gambler's Gloves, Snag, Courage of Bladehold, Twinning Blade, and Perch Grapplers. You can see Courage of Bladehold lost a lot of value this week. Let's talk about the regular Majestics then. Again, Snag here, current price of $30 for a non-foil unlimited Snag, very expensive. Remorseless, again on this list, Cooks of Commotion, Gambler's Gloves. You can see a lot of movement here in the cards that are seeing play, whereas a lot of the cards that aren't seeing play are starting to lose some value. Also, don't just take this as like cards that aren't play or losing value. It's also due to the fact that there's a decent amount of boxes being opened. So you can see all these cards that are losing value and the least valuable cards as well, as we move on to the Rainbow Foil Rares. I'll tell you the average. The average is, it didn't pop up for some reason. I'm not quite sure why that is. It'll be on the next little page. As we look towards the unlimited foils, the rares, you're seeing things that are just all over the place, honestly. Keep in mind this is just TCG low pricing, but things are just kind of all over the place as things try to find their price point. The heroes are losing the most value, and then the cards that are seeing some play, are going up a little bit. You got some red cards, some blue cards. It's really not, it's hard to tell exactly what's happening with the market right now because there's just so much being pushed into the market with the cards. But your most valuable cards are Harmonized Kodachi, Kasai, Data Doll, and Centauri Saber and Redliner. I think that's mostly due to the rarity of those cards. So a lot of those are the short printed ones. So, all right, let's talk about the regular rares. A lot of the same. You're seeing Marvin Sky's Blue in there. That's a played card. High Impact. That's a card that's been on this list a couple times. I actually honestly don't know what's going on with High Speed Impact. Maybe Mechanologist is seeing some action. I have not heard of that. Rainbow Foil Commons. You've got Anthros seeing some increase as a lot of the Guardian stuff is going on. And this is the Rainbow Foil. I didn't know where these were going to hold. I don't think that this is going to end up being a $15 card, although you can see Death Dealer, Romping Blood, Nebula Blade, Anthos all holding value up here. Again, I think that's because there's just not a ton of boxes on the market. As you saw, like TCG Player is a $90 box right now. These are definitely like one per box, so it's not like there's a ton of them on the market, and that might be why these prices are quickly going up, because there's not enough to catch it. So looking at the EV for these boxes, it's absolutely crazy. Even though it's lost 21% over the last 2 weeks, it's absolutely crazy. Don't worry about the true EV. The kind of 40 box average here will be sitting at $162 per box. If you don't hit a Fable, you can expect your average to be about 156. But if you take out the legendary as well, so now you're dealing with no legendary, no Fable, no regular commons, you're still at $145. Check this out. The Majestics take up $57 worth of the boxes. You're going to get about 6 Majestics per box. That averages it out just under $10 per card. Huge portion of this is dependent on your Majestics and then your Majestic Rainbow Foils. So that's the market update. Again, I hope you guys have a great day. Remember, be kind to the people around you. And we will see you again later. We're going to be streaming tonight. It might be while I'm doing this video. I don't know. And it'll be good. And I appreciate you guys. Remember, if you want to support content like this, head on over to KitchenTableTCG or patreon.com/KitchenTableTCG. And if you're looking for a way to track the EV, head to ev.kitchenttabletcg.com. Hope you guys have a great day. Remember, be kind to the people around you. Oops, wrong button.